Welcome to The Pulse, where we delve deep into the issues and ideas that are shaping the future of education. I'm your host, Rick Surrency, Superintendent of the Putnam County School District, and each week we'll be talking to teachers, administrators, and other experts in the field about the latest trends, best practices, and most pressing concerns in education. Whether you're a teacher, a parent, or just someone who cares about education, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the pulse. Hi, I'm Rick Surrency. I'm the superintendent of the Putnam County School District, and welcome again to our podcast. And I am very honored today to have representatives here from QI Roberts Senior High School, and I'm going to have them introduce themselves in just a minute, but we're going to talk about the QI Roberts debate team. And I actually love debate. I mean, I've done that informally throughout my entire career, so I really respect the fact that students can actually debate each other. And we're going to talk about how you can get involved and what it takes to be a debater. And we have two experts here from QI Roberts. But Michele, welcome, and I'm going to ask you to introduce yourselves, and then our distinguished students ask them to introduce themselves, and we'll talk about the QI Roberts debate team in just a minute.
Okay. I am Michele Knowles. I've been teaching at QI. This is my 5th year. I have been teaching for 18 years total in Putnam County. About 4 years ago, some students came to me and said they really would like to have a debate team. We'd been doing some little debates in class, and they enjoyed them. So I offered to be their sponsor, and that kind of just evolved from there. And now we actually have a class that is a speech and debate class that I teach 7th period every day as an elective.
Well, you see what you got yourself into now, right?
Yes, I have a terrible time saying yes. I always say yes. And Mr. Theobald's trying to teach me that no is an answer.
Yeah. Well, I think that was a good time to not say no. So thank you, Michele.
I have enjoyed it.
That's great. That's great. And we'll start with both y'all. Introduce yourself and the grade and a little bit about you, because I know we have possibly some students watching today, so we want them to know you very well.
All right. So my name is Sophie Chen. I'm a junior at QI Roberts currently. And
I'm Galvin Miles, and I am a senior at QI Roberts. I've been with our debate team for about 2 years. And I'm really interested in politics and political sciences. That's what I plan to major in. And I've had a really great time on our debate team. I've placed in about 8 or 9 different competitions, I believe.
Yeah.
And last year at the FCDI state championship, I was second in varsity congressional debate.
That's great. And Galvin, thanks for saying that. And I'm going to come to Sophie in just a minute and ask you to talk about what are some of your future plans. But, you're talking about going into public service and that type of thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of in that role right now. So I think having the ability to, talk and debate and talk about issues and all that is really an essential part of being a good debater. And, especially if you're an elected official, that's just something you have to be able to do for survival. So I really commend you for doing that. You were in Tallahassee at the same time I was. And I'm trying to remember.
I think I was there as a messenger for the Florida House of Representatives.
That's it.
That was one of the first big things I did with, local government around here. And then last summer, I was actually an intern at our property appraiser's office here for Mr. Tim Parker.
Right.
So I have some experience already, doing
That's
some
great.
things in government, public service.
And I apologize for not remembering the occasion, but you were a messenger. I remember that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Galvin. Tell us what your goal is, Sophie.
I mainly have 2 options. Currently, I either want to study computer science and be a software developer engineer, or I want to be a lawyer, potentially doing law and everything. That's why I'm doing debate.
Yeah, what kind of law comes? Any particular kind of law?
Not really. I'm not too focused on that yet.
Okay.
I'm still searching.
And there's time. And if you do a lot of, in courtroom law, whatever that's called, mm-hmm. being a debater would really be, essential as far as arguing your case and all. So Michele, tell us maybe about, I know you talked about when it started and all that. Talk to us about some of the competitions, if you would. And I know you're right here in the middle, and I know you in the middle of the season.
We debate in 2 different circuits. So there is FCDI, which is the Florida Civics and Debate Initiative. And those are the ones that I've got coming up this Saturday. They have speaking events as well as debate events. So in my class, I've been working with the students on how to do both events. And then we also debate in what's called Incubate Debate, which is strictly a debate event. And that one's the one that's coming up in January. And the students seem to enjoy that one a lot, even though it is a debate. Incubate really puts forth that we are teaching civil discourse, and that's what we want our students to do. And that's Sophie's going to share with you in a few minutes a quote that she really likes and that came from there, because what we're trying to do is build good citizens and let them experience other people's opinions and viewpoints and be able to accept them and move on in a civil manner.
I think you make a great point, Michelle, and especially it has been such a great teaching moment this past year for the election of 2024. We've seen a lot of that going on, and a lot of that has not been real civil, if you know what I mean. It's been kind of polarizing, hasn't it?
Been interesting.
But I think it's a great lesson to know that, our country is based on having opposing point of views, and what comes out of that is essentially how we move forward. So Galvin, talk to me about some of the preparation that goes into preparing for a debate competition.
So as Mrs. Knowles told you, we compete in 2 circuits. So there's the Florida Civics and Debate Initiative, and then there's Incubate. Both of those are different, and the preparation looks different for both of those. Incubate, they give you some study materials and some general topics. Like one of the topics might be, should the United States ban TikTok, was one we did all of last year. This year one was, should the United States continue to use armed drones? So, they really like those in the moment, pop culture topics like that are in politics today. They give you some study materials, but you're going to do independent research that you can bring to the table on the debate day. The Florida Civics and Debate Initiative, on the other hand, as Ms. Knowles said, there's speaking and debating competitions. So speaking, like original oratory, you might have to prepare kind of a speech about something beforehand, maybe something informational or important to you. Debate, specifically, I do congressional debate, which is like a parliamentary debate style. So there's a lot of rules and order that goes into that. But they will give you a legislation docket beforehand that has a lot of mock bills that were drafted by students like me. I write a lot of them. But and then you get to give an authorship speech, which is pretty cool. So they give you that legislation packet beforehand, and you're going to need to read those, analyze those mock bills, think about the implications if those were passed by our Congress or our state legislature, and maybe prepare some sources, some information, and speeches that you're going to give on debate day. So usually those dockets will have as many as 20 bills in them that you're going to prepare for. So with congressional debate, there is certainly a lot of preparation. But there are also formats where you show up on debate day and they literally give you their topic right then. And you're going to have, a couple hours to study for it right then. So it really depends on exactly what you're doing. Some have more preparation, some have less preparation. People like me that really like to prepare for everything in advance might do congressional debate because you can really get prepared. But some people can just, on the fly, just make up a whole speech, do it impromptu or extemporaneous. So there are formats for everybody at FCDI or Incubate. There's always something for everyone, whether you would consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert or whatever background you're coming from. Personally, I considered myself an introvert, but being involved with debate has really gotten myself out there and improved my speaking skills, my public speaking skills, your oratorical abilities, and whatnot. So really there's something for everyone at FCDI.
I would think a lot of that, and again, I don't know all the criteria, but I would think just based on what Gavin's talking about, there's substance and then there's style. I would think, knowing your topic and being able to come across in a a manner in which you can convince people. Does that sound accurate? Am I missing anything?
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. And just being able to have a dialogue, an exchange of ideas is so important in today's society. You mentioned as somebody in public administration, but really for anyone, whether it's at, the Thanksgiving dinner table or what have you, it's just such a crucial skill that can really be honed in by participating in debate.
Sophie was talking about earlier before we came on, you have a famous quote from Hemingway.
Yes,
and I really think that hits to the core of why if there's students out there watching this right now, why students need to think about being involved with this. It's not about necessarily going out and trying to win and trying to defeat somebody else necessarily. It's about what it can do for us. So tell us that quote, and then let's talk about that topic for just a minute, if you would.
Yeah, of course. So the quote is by Ernest Hemingway. There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow man. True nobility comes from being superior to your former self. So basically what this quote means is that you're not striving to be better than other people. Like, you compete in debate and all, but it's not about getting first. At the end of the day, it's about growing and inspiring others through your growth.
I love that. And it really is about, as you compete, all that preparation like Gavin's talking about, you build your knowledge level, you build your skill level. You can actually become a better skilled debater, and whatever you do, just by preparing against other people. If you had to go out there and debate in the mirror, it's one thing, but if you have other people that will make you better because of the preparation. So I really like that quote, and I think it really speaks to how debate can really make us all better. So, Sophie, I know in January you have the big competition coming up, and I think January 25th,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So talk to me about, what that's going to be like. What are some of the topics that might be debated at that time?
Yeah, of course. So we have two main topics. One of them is called Should Historical Monuments Be Removed? And the other one is about the Electoral College and whether it should be abolished or not.
And those are two pretty hot topics.
Yes, they
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
You can really see both sides of them. Like, they want us to prepare both sides. Obviously, we should do research. And then I think one of them is actually going to be assigned.
Yeah. So you have to be prepared for both,
Yes,
but
sir.
one of them you'll actually have to do, right?
No, you're going to do both topics. You're just going to have one of them assigned sides. Like, you're going to be AF for one, and then they're going to say, oh, you have to be AF or nay for the other.
I see. They'll
Yes.
assign which side you do.
Yes, sir.
I got you. So that's to me, that's pretty powerful, because you might have an opinion or you might have a position, pro or con, but you have to be prepared to show the side of the other side, whatever that is. So to me, there's a lot of value in that. You're talking about being an attorney. You have to actually be prepared for someone who might be, quote unquote, guilty if you were defending someone, but you still have to set that aside and say, I'm going to show all the evidence to show why this individual may not be guilty. Is that an accurate statement? I mean,
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's true debate is finding, sides that support, or finding evidence that supports your particular position, right? So that'll be interesting. Where will that competition be held?
That one will be held at JU in
Okay.
Jacksonville.
Are you going to have any competitions at QI Roberts at all?
We are not. We're such a small school. The FCDI debates run about 300 students, and that's not counting the judges and the coaches and all of that. So we just don't have space for them. We have hosted an Incubate at QI. Our first year, we hosted a small Incubate at QI, and it was very nice, and we really liked it. But so far, we have not had another
Well,
opportunity.
let me know if and when you do have that. I'd love to come, and even if it's in this area, I'd love to come and just watch it in action. So as we kind of wrap it up today, let me just ask both of y'all, what is the number one thing that debate has done for you individually? And I want, in case we have students that might be interested in doing debate, it's really important that they hear some of the takeaways that y'all have had in being involved in the debate team. So, Galvin, what's one thing that you could really focus on that debate has done for you?
Sure. I kind of briefly mentioned it earlier, talking about how I thought I was an introvert, but coming out of COVID-19, everybody was at home, you weren't at school. Kind of some of my social skills were eroded to an extent, and, public speaking became a little bit harder at times. But going on the debate team and putting myself out there it really brought back those public speaking skills. And I think it can do that for anyone. So whether you would say that you just have a natural ability for public speaking and debating, or whether you're coming from somewhere where that's not the case and you believe you're more introverted, or you can't do public speaking, or you think you can't do debate, that's all the more reason that I think you should do debate, because it's going to build up those skills that are so crucial. We've been talking about how crucial they are, and they really are skills that you need in everyday life. as a student and then later as an adult in college, wherever you want to go. So whether you are coming from that place where you aren't really involved with public speaking, you don't think you can do it, or whether you are coming from like you are really good at public speaking, join debate, because it's really going to help you put yourself out there.
That's great. Great response. Thank you for sharing that. And you really provided some context, because we've had so many students that came through the pandemic and life was sitting behind a computer and just kind of entertaining ourselves. But now this is kind of forcing you to kind of interact with other people. So,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah. Thank you, Galvin. Sophie, what's one thing that maybe has been something that you can take away from being involved in the debate team?
I think it's really helped me grow as a person and my confidence, because like before debate, I really had like problems with just being confident in myself and like having that ability, like, oh, I can do it. And I think debate has really shown me that like if I put effort into it, I can do it. Like you can do what you believe you can do.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. And both of y'all were so polished. I'm really impressed with that. So, Michele, hats off to you for starting the program.
Thank you.
Now, if there are other students out there, other teachers maybe out there in our district that want to have or get information, can you just provide some contact information for yourself or whomever that they can contact if they want some more information?
Sure. I'm Michele Knowles, so my email is mknowles@my.putnamschools.org. I'll be glad to talk to anybody about debate, about a speech and debate team. And before I forget, I do want to say again, there is something for everyone in the debate circuit or the speech circuit. We have several students who are very shy, and they do the impromptu. They draw out a slip of paper, they get 3 topics to choose from, and they have 7 minutes. 7 minutes of your life is all you're devoting to this, and you get just the feeling of accomplishment from doing it. So even children who don't have time to prepare and don't have things like that, they can talk about something for 7 minutes. So I do want to say there's something for everybody.
Thank you, Michele, and thanks, Galvin and Sophie. I've been really impressed with just your demeanor and the way you carry yourself. So.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, and look forward to hearing from anybody who might be interested in doing debate. So thank you all again for being here.
Thank you for having me, Dr.
Thank
Surrency.
you.
Yep. So we'll see you next time at our next podcast.